How you doing, YouTube? Matt Master Beer Reviews, back with a little bit of collab hopeful goodness. Up in this piece in the form of Horus barrel-aged beers with Equilibrium. It is their Baza, Bonne, Bouche. This is an Imperial Stout with coffee, chocolate, graham crackers, marshmallows, mixed nuts, and vanilla beans added. Yeah, this comes courtesy of my boy Dan, who would be Stout Snob 40 out there on the West Coast, 13.8%. He sent off a bunch of beers. Almost all of them were mystery beers, but there was two non-mystery beers, and they were both big 500 milliliter Horus beers. So yeah, we are now going to drink this confectionery candy bar of a beer. I enjoyed the other one quite a bit. I'm sure when this review goes up, the other one will go up at the same time. Otherwise, I always dig Horus's labels. I mean, I talked about this in the other review. My brother's a big bird person, so I don't know, something about bird portraits kind of do it for me. And as far as that beer goes, that'd be Stout in those hills right there. I mean, rich, thick. Would I like my coffee to look like colored head, even though there's not a big head on there? Let's get a nose. What does that smell like? That smells like macchiato and Nutella is what I'm getting off of this. So it's like almost like a soft coffee vibe, but then you're adding that kind of hazelnutty Nutella thing going on. So the coffee, chocolate, graham cracker. I think that coffee graham cracker mix is that Nutella thing I have going down. Marshmallows, mixed nuts, and then, well, they're talking about mixed nuts, so again, Nutella there. The marshmallow and vanilla bean is actually quite small in this. It really is all the parts of roasted malt, and then that kind of darker portion of the show, that coffee, chocolate kind of Nutella thing, which I actually think is quite nice. And that marshmallow vanilla adds almost like a soft little half and half kind of milk addition to a coffee. So you get your kind of macchiato, your hazelnut macchiato thing, and then add a little bit of cream in there. And then that's that portion of the show. It's not overly kind of confectionery banana or vanilla or anything like that. And I tell you what, this smells really, really good. It doesn't smell like it's going to be overly sweet. I think it's going to be. It's 13%. It's a big candy bar stout. It's probably going to be sweet, but I think it's going to be, in the grand scheme of things, as far as these beers go, less sweet than what we expect. And I think that's a bonus. So I'm just going to dive right in. Cheers. Okay. It is a little bit sweeter than I thought it'd be, but it's a cool kind of sweetness. Because it's very much a marshmallow sweetness in here. So while it is sweet, marshmallow sweetness comes off as like somewhere kind of floating in limbo between like a confectionery sweetness and like a refined sugar kind of sweetness. So I don't hate that. It's definitely way bigger marshmallow on a taste than anything else. That is probably the biggest bummer about the beer, even though marshmallow's awesome and all. But not only was I prepped and expecting this kind of big hazelnut coffee kind of thing, which is there, but it's also trumped mightily by that marshmallow. I would love it to be different than that. You signed up for this beer. When you open it, you look at it, you read it, you know what you're getting into. So it's not like I didn't expect this to kind of come off as this confectionery marshmallowy kind of candy bar thing. But even knowing all that, and then when you read it, you're like, okay, I'm going to get that. But when you get that nose and it really leans decently heavily into those kind of more adulty kind of things, the darker chocolate, that hazelnut, the coffee, the things that you don't associate a ton with overly sweet pastry stouts, because that tends to be a little bit more kind of old school maturey kind of sound. And that vanilla and that marshmallow take a decent back seat to that in the nose when you get into the taste, and it kind of flips that script, and then those that marshmallow more specifically takes hold of the reins and becomes the driver. It's not negative. I'm not saying I don't like it, but I would have preferred that to be in the back seat still for me. So yeah, I mean, it is a fun sweetness though. That marshmallow is very, very cool. It comes off very much like marshmallow. A lot of times people say marshmallow and it comes off as just more of a vanilla bomb. This is very much marshmallow. That hazelnut is probably still the second lead in this beer, which is very, very surprising. I call it hazelnut. It's probably a combination of the coffee and those mixed nuts in there. maybe even a coffee, bringing that a little bit to the table, and even the base stout portion of itself. But to get that vibrant level of nuttiness, and graham cracker, I keep forgetting about that, is cool, and I dig that. And then the coffee is probably coming up distant third or even fourth, which is kind of a bummer because I think that addition of the coffee, if it was big enough, roasty enough, bold enough, it would actually act as like a counterbalance for that sweetness and make it a little bit more of a balanced off beer, which I think would just be a better beer, for me at least. But in the grand scheme of things, if I take a step back and look at this beer at the label and then wash all those preconceived notions down the drain and go, is this giving me what the label says and what I expect? Absolutely, without a doubt. You know what I mean? You read this, you go into it, and you see the Imperial Stout, chocolate, coffee, graham crackers, marshmallow, mixed nuts, vanilla bean. It's giving me all that. And it's giving me all that in a very big kind of, more kind of like soft candy bar kind of vibe. You know, where some of these pastry stouts tend to come off a little bit more kind of like, I don't know. This is like more like a big nougaty coconutty thing, you know, softer candy bar, a chewy candy bar as opposed to a harder kind of candy bar. Like, it's not like a brittle or peanut butter or something like that. It has that marshmallow playing the role as that coconut vibe and like a big coconutty kind of candy bar. And who doesn't like that shit? So yeah, this is a fun beer. Fun beer, definitely delicious, but it's definitely something that I would have to drink in doses. This is probably the max for me tonight. I will cap this. I'll probably sip a little bit more tomorrow and take it from there. But this is definitely a share beer for me, but absolutely fun to try. And it's been a really cool ride on these two, so I appreciate it very much, Dan. And let's just cut to the chase. This is one of the better stouts that I've had as of late. I mean, pastry stouts, let's go there, I've had as like, yeah, it's kind of up there. It's getting towards Mount Rushmore status. I think I like the other one a little bit better, because this one, how big the marshmallow is on it. But they're both actually fantastic representations of that specific style. If I say it's one of the better stouts, no. If I say one of the better pastry stouts, yes. It's still probably in the conversation with a base stout, but it's not even near towards the top. Once you actually add that pastry moniker to it, it definitely climbs the charts. Value and availability on these, I actually don't know. Got a little information from left and right. So Dan, let me know what you paid for this one and the other one. I'll leave you with, if you like what we like this. If you like big old pastry stouts, done and done. So thank you very much for sending this off. Like I said, go check him out at Stout Snob 40 on the Instagrams. Very cool dude. You'll see these going up relatively shortly, and the mystery beers probably be sprinkled throughout. Yeah, there you go. A little review on the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive beers and Beer Massive. See this part here? That's social media. That part there, podcast. Go check them out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully you're enjoying a little bit of pastry stout right now. Hopefully see you next time. Cheers.